Hey guys, so I just thought I'd redo a video that I'd done previously, basics of bodybuilding and where to begin bodybuilding. Now, bodybuilding means a number of things to different people. To me, I think a bodybuilder should compete. Bodybuilding in itself is just building your body. But I feel if you're going to call yourself a bodybuilder, you should have something to sort of show for it. But what I'm going to go through will help anyone that's looking to build muscle or burn fat, starting out with their bodybuilding career. So with this, the first thing I'm going through is training. And the reason I want to go through training, most people out there starting out will go, okay, how do I train to get the body I want? So that's the main reason I've got this first. Not doing it in any specific order, just the order I think people are going to listen to it. So where to begin? A lot of people will say jump on starting strength. This is the best place to start. You need to build up your strength so you can lift heavier further down the line, which is fine, but if you're going to think about longevity, then we've got to think about the rest of our body as well. Things like tendons and things like joints. And we have to build up tendon and ligament strength as well as muscular strength. Muscular strength and muscular size will come a lot quicker than tendon strength will. So with increasing tendon strength, it means we kind of have to sacrifice the weight we're using a little bit, because if we use too much weight, our muscles are going to increase in size quite quickly at the start when we get our nude gains, or our starting out gains, and our tendons aren't going to be able to cope with the load, and that's where you get a lot of people tearing ligaments, tearing tendons, or injuring their joints in some way. So that's the first thing we need to do. We also need to increase the mind-muscle connection. This has to do with the central nervous system. So what mind-muscle connection is when we are told to contract a muscle, we can do it. So if I said, okay, everyone contract your mid-traps. Some of you might not even know what your mid-traps are. It's the middle of your back, but a lot of people, you'd be surprised at how many people can't contract that area of their back, simply because they've never trained for it. If I told you to flex your bicep, everyone knows how to do that. They know the movement to create to increase the contraction in that muscle. Things like your glutes, a lot of people don't know how to flex their glutes. They get confused, whereas someone who's been training knows how to do it because they've increased their mind-muscle connection. So we've got to increase that to increase the effectiveness of our workout, because when we go in there, we need to know the movements that we need to create to increase the contraction and tension in our muscles. If we don't, there's no way we know how to hit a muscle from different angles or how to hit a muscle effectively. Next thing, following on from that, central nervous system adaptations. So what a lot of people do is they will go in and they'll start lifting really, really heavy and burn themselves out really quickly and start getting injuries. And the reason they get burnt out and their strength stops increasing is because the central nervous system hasn't adapted to the same as someone that's been training for, say, 3 years. So what is your central nervous system is what increases your strength. So if your central nervous system is stronger, you're going to have stronger action potentials, which, if you don't know what they are, look them up. An action potential is basically the signal from your brain to your muscle, which is then converted into the action. And what happens is your brain fires these a lot more effectively and a lot quicker. So that means that your muscles will contract harder and faster, which means an increase in strength and an increase in power. And a perfect example is someone that's older versus someone that's younger that's training. They will usually, unless genetics on their side, they will usually be stronger. Central nervous system is the place to start with your training, building that up, because that will give you a better base to build strength later on. Next thing is how to eat. So diet is probably the most important thing. If I started out a video, a lot of guys that are just like, oh, I want to go to the gym, they're not going to listen to this video. So diet, in my opinion, is the most important thing, because like in another video I've done, you'll see a lot of people go to the gym for years and they will not change, and that's down to diet. So I'm going to go through bulking first, because I've done a cutting video. I will add it into this video as well. Bulking, we want 1.5 grams of protein per pound of body weight. So I'm going to use 150 pounds, and we want to hit 3,375 calories a day. Protein, 1.5 grams per pound of body weight is 225. So that's probably a little bit more than a lot of people would eat when they're 150 pounds, trying to build some muscle. They'll go, oh, that's a lot of protein. We need that protein to build the muscle. So carbs want to be 2 times what protein is. So if we've got 225, that makes it 450. And again, reasonably high, but we need the carbs to create an anabolic environment within our muscles, and they're going to help us put on the size, basically. And fat, we want 0.5 grams per pound of body weight. So that's 75 grams for this 150 pound person, and all of that comes to 3,375 calories. Now again, there's variation there, but this is a good place to start. Look up things. I've just written an article, I'll put it on my website, versobodybuilding.co.uk, about METs and BMR, and that's a good place, something you should really be looking into to get very accurate with your calories, which is something that you will need to do to get the best out of your training and diet. So next thing is cutting. We want 1.5 to 2 grams per pound of body weight, and we want our carbs to be equal to protein. So when we're bulking, we want 2 times, and when we're cutting, we want it to be equal. And again, the reason for that is we want to maintain as much muscle as possible, but carbs, when ingested too often, will increase our insulin and increase the amount of fat that's being stored, as well as keeping our muscle, but we want to maintain a good fat burning environment within our muscles. And fat can be slightly higher, 0.5 to 0.75 grams per pound of body weight. So you can see there's a couple of differences, but with all of these things I'm telling you, don't worry about your meal timing, or don't worry about how many meals. Starting out, you just need to get yourself into a routine, and a lot of people try and go really, really hard into it, really, really fast. They do really heavy weights, and they restrict their diet or make it really, really clean, and try and fit all their meals in and try and hit all their macros every 2 hours. And the thing is, if you've got a job, like a regular person, you've got a family, and you've got to train, there's no way realistically you'll be able to do that. The pros can, because they are paid to do it. Their sponsors will go, okay, you have a break every 2 hours to eat because you need to do it. Whereas at a job, your boss isn't likely to go have a break every 2 hours, go eat your chicken and rice or eat whatever you want, because they're running a business and you're there to work for them, you're not there to do what you want to do. So eat clean and hit your macros, but don't worry about when you're hitting them. If you can only fit 2 meals in a day, fit 2 meals in a day. Your body's going to take what it needs for when it's getting it in. So don't worry about your meals, don't worry about meal timing, just get it in, get it done, just to start with. Because this is just a starting point. This is where you set your routine, and you're trying to get to where you want to go, and then you can branch off from that and see where your body's going with what it likes.